everyone. Today, I will be the one who will discuss about the environmental impact. So, the environmental impact, it is the effect of human activity on the environment in the form of creating environmental imbalance. So, a negative or positive change in environmental quality is resulting from human interference or able to exchange the natural rhythm of the process of the system. So, there are some of the most common environmental impacts, which are the air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, waste production, noise pollution, and lastly the loss of biodiversity. So, in air pollution, it is in the industrialization and urbanization releases from em- enormous amount of toxic gases and particulate pollutants. So, in water pollution, it is the run of agricultural fields, industries, houses, and contains toxic as well as nutrients in the making of water polluted and the water to be rich in nutrients, which is resulting in eutrophication, depletion of dissolved oxygen. And the soil pollution, we all know that soil pollution is the green revolution has greatly enabled the uses of pesticides in many agricultural fields. And these pesticides are broad spectrum and are highly persistent and could affect the soil microorganism which would degrade the soil fertility. So, and lastly, in the loss in biodiversity. So, we all know that the forests are home to many wildlife. Making fragments and deforestation could harm those wild animals, thereby reducing biodiversity. So, the cause as a result of nutrient pollution into natural waters, which promotes excessive plant growth and to cause a severe reduction in water quality and disturbance in the normal functioning of the ecosystem. So, the essential to sustainable development is the assessment of urban projects in terms of their environmental impacts. So, we all know that there are a lots which could be put as a problem. So, however, at the end of the day, it all comes down to human health and many generations to come. So, if we develop things in a sustainable manner, it would put human at a greater chance for survival. It is also that environmental considerations have now become important for for projects such as the shopping centers, car parks, multiplex cinemas, leisure centers, and the sports stadia. And also the airborne pollutants and acid rain can both affect ecosystem to a degree and in a ways which are not yet fully understood. So, next is that the human population grows. Natural resources are being depleted. So, in improving the sustainability of human development is being increasingly urgent and it is essential to measure, minimize, and compensate for these impacts. So, we all know that population is a dynamic field. There have been significant changes in birth rates and the population trajectories of countries and continents in recent years. So, the global population is still growing by more than 80 million a year. However, and most likely to continue growing for the rest of the century unless we take action. So, in generally speaking, as the human population grows, our consumption of natural resources increases. So, more humans consume more fresh waters, more land, more clothing, and etc. So, the more people on the planet, the more food we need to feed to the humans. More fishing, more farming, more deforestation to make rooms for agriculture and raising livestock and more. is environmental impact measured? So, we all know that today, more than 100 countries have legislation that requires an environmental impact assessment or the AIA. It is because to be carried out for any project that may highly impact the ecosystems where it is due to take place. So the AIA or the Environmental Impact Assessment was created to evaluate such as effects on ecosystems and was designed according to sustainable development indicators. So in addition, there is an international natural capital coalition that works to enable business organizations and to integrate their environmental dependencies. Also, the impacts on ecosystem and biodiversity into their finances. So, therefore, the environmental impact identifies both potential and positive and negative impacts. So, for those negative impacts upon the natural and the socio-economic environment, it is possible paths mitigations measures were identified in advance. So, this enabled avoidance and minimization of impacts that are make the project environmentally friendly and acceptable to the community. So, the AIA was an instrument that facilitated identification of potential impacts and development of mitigation measures to and also to reduce adverse impacts and foster sustainable development. So, that is all about the environmental impact. Thank you for listening.